rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Boy, it has been quite a week. Well, last night the DNC kicked off, and Kamala Harris gave a speech, a teleprompted speech, of course. Excuse me, but gave a speech. And she outlined one of her economic ideas, which is essentially to stop price gouging in the marketplaces, in grocery stores and things like that. Yeah, that's not going to go well. I've got a little bit about that tonight. I have a few more things with regards to Tim Walz and some information that just came out about the United States Postal Service and their handling of election ballots. And then to kind of round off the evening, if I get there, I had a little fun today and took an free online IQ test just to see where I fall in the IQ spectrum. So we'll have to take a look at that a little bit later on. But first, of course, let's go ahead and get things kicked off tonight with wow, excuse me. Let's get things kicked off tonight with Pops McGroin and partner leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please, if you are of mind, stand, remove your hats, put your hand over your hearts, and let's follow along with Pops and partner in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
All right. Thank you, Pops, for submitting that. And of course, if you would like to hear your rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance, you can record yourself doing your version and then take that audio file and send it in to me. You can send it in to me by emailing it to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, and tonight I want to tell you about tonight's sponsor, which is, and I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. They have some fantastic, great patriotic shirts that are out there in all kinds of styles, in colors. Well, yeah, in colors to choose from. Check out theflagshirt.com. That's right, theflagshirt.com. And check this out. They have their Labor Day sale running on right now. What happens here is if you spend $100 by using code 20 at checkout, that's TWENTY, you can get $20 off your order when you spend $100. Not to mention the fact that if you get over $75, okay, on your order, you get free shipping. So this is great. You not only get free shipping, but you also get $20 off your order. This is awesome. Head on over to theflagshirt.com and shop now. You can check out the t-shirts like what I'm wearing, which is the fantastic USA with the Constitution on it, or maybe it's the Declaration of Independence. No, it's the Constitution on it. And you can also check out the other cotton polos that I wear during the show as well. So go to theflagshirt.com. And, you know, let's be honest, not everybody is able to spend $100 or even $75. So I am going to sweeten the deal. If you don't decide to buy that much money or that much product, you can get $5 off your order by heading off to flagshirt.americanperspective.online to get yourself a code that you can put in at checkout. When you go to checkout in the cart, you get to, it's a promo code box. You go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, get that promo code, put it in the box at checkout, and you will get $5 off on me. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online and get your your code for $5 off when you put the promo code that you receive there at checkout at theflagshirt.com. Go to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All right. So tonight, first things first, breaking news. This is a breaking news right here on the program, just in from the Daily Wire. The Supreme Court blocks Biden's Title IX rules that allowed men in sports. So I told you this was potentially going to go up there. Well, here, I have to read from my phone because it's like hot off the presses. So the Supreme Court posted an opinion late today that blocked Biden administration's Title IX rules that would force schools to receive public funding to allow trans-identifying males into girls' bathrooms, locker rooms, and sports. Now, the rule itself went into effect August 1st, but 26 states plus hundreds of additional schools and for everybody but 26 states plus hundreds of additional schools, and that the rule had expanded the definition of sex to include sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, Title IX was originally implemented in 1972 and prohibited schools from receiving public funding from discriminating against students based on sex. And of course, that means male and female. So here's the thing. I have a feeling that what's going to happen is the Supreme Court is going to rule that Biden once again overstepped his constitutional boundaries in reclassifying the law, and that if they want something like that implemented, that it has to go through Congress to get implemented. That seems to be the theme of this Supreme Court, is to try and bring things back into more of a constitutional nature, which I personally like. But that seems to be the path. Now we'll have to see what happens and where the choice goes. But I have a feeling that's probably where they're going to go, is that they're getting tired of having to deal with Biden and his overreach in the office. And if you think that Biden's overreach is bad, just wait until you get Kamala Harris. So you better get out and vote. You better get 10 friends and go out and vote and all that other stuff. Take 10 more and make sure you post on social media to get all of your conservative friends to actually not believe the polls and go out and vote. This is a fight that we must win this year. I know that sounds like hyperbole. I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but I'm not exaggerating here. The end of this great country will continue to happen if we allow Harris Walls into the office and not fight back on this at all. All right. So first things first, you know how Kamala Harris was saying that because Trump didn't want to debate on September 10th, that he was afraid, and, all of the sycophants and everything jumped on to that and started making, memes and things of Donald Trump as a chicken and all this other stuff. Well, then Donald Trump goes and gets in front of the mainstream media and says, hey, here we go. I am going to offer up 3 options, 3 of the debates. And here's what I have agreed to. And of course, 2 of them were on the sycophantic left wing ABC and NBC, and the third one being on Fox News. Well, the Kamala camp immediately came out and said no to the Fox News one, absolutely, because she can't go backstage or on stage in front of an audience that is not friendly to her, even though Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have been doing that for the 27 days or 26 days. I can't remember. I've lost count because it's been so many days since we've actually seen Kamala Harris in front of a camera in an unscripted interview or unscripted press conference. And so then, believe me, there's a reason for that. I'll show you here. I'll be showing you here in just a minute. But the thing about it is, though, is that Kamala Harris apparently has now agreed to 2 of the debates. So here, if you look, this is in the Epoch Times. Harris campaign agrees to 2 debates after Trump proposes those 3. The Harris campaign has confirmed that Vice President Kamala Harris will participate in 2 debates against former President Donald Trump. Those 2 debates, of course, will be the September 10th showdown on ABC, and the second will take place in October at an undisclosed time with an unspecified network. Now, here's the thing. The reason why they want the second debate in October is because of all of the states that have early voting. So all of the early voters, this is exactly what happened in 2020, by the way, was that the October surprise with the Hunter Biden laptop, even the people that did get the word out and were starting to put it out there, many people had already voted by the time the scandal broke. And so what ended up happening is that many of those people who voted early and missed out on the opportunity to change their vote, because obviously once you put it in, it's done and over with. You got a one and done with that. They didn't have the opportunity to change their vote, and many people resoundingly said in the affirmative, upwards of enough people that would have actually, numerically speaking, changed the course of the election, that they would have changed their vote had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop, which, again, I'm going to tell you, is real. It's factual. It's not satisfactory to me because, of course, the information has now been so run over with that the mainstream media isn't even talking about this. So anyway, the point being, though, is that they want the second debate later in the season because of the fact they want to make sure that all those early voters, those people who vote early, are out of the way and will hopefully have already voted for Kamala Harris before she crashes and burns in a second debate. Now, I am praying that the September 10th one is a evidentiary crash and burn for Kamala, because we all know that she is being hidden by the campaign, the mainstream media. She won't even come out and do interviews. She won't even come out and do press conferences off script. Well, this is the reason why. So here in PJ Media, apparently she was at a, I don't know if this is like a campaign stop or something like that, but she was, let's see. I'm not even sure. Like I said, I don't even know where this is. But apparently she was somewhere like in a campaign headquarters or something like this. The video was posted by Princess Consuela Banana Hammock. Obviously, that's a made-up name. But anyway, here it is right here. If you are on rumble.com, you can see it, or even on X or Facebook. If you're on the video portion of the program, you can certainly see this. But take a listen to what Kamala Harris does when she tries to describe let's see, what is it? Oh, democracy. When she tries to describe democracy. Take a listen.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, you know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong in terms of what it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. so strong in its nature, and it is very fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Okay. Well, somebody please get me a Kamala interpreter, because I have no freaking I mean, she is about as bad as Biden. I mean, at least with Biden, he sort of mumbled and rumbled and did all kinds of other things, mumbled and fumbled and so on and so forth. So I have no idea what the hell she was talking about. And in fact, the writer in PJ Media went to Grok, which, for those of you that are not on X, Grok is the AI that is being developed by Elon Musk's X platform. And it's available only to paying X subscribers right now. But the person asked Grok to imitate Harris, explaining how inflation works. And this is what it came out with. Inflation is when your dollar goes on a diet and it loses weight, so it buys less. My plan, we're going to feed those dollars, make them plump again. How? By ensuring every dollar gets a little hat, a tiny hat that says, I'm worth more now. And for those who say, Kamala, that's not how economics works, I say, watch me. We'll have a dollar parade where every dollar feels valued, and voila, inflation's gone. Remember, it's all about the hat. AI created that. Anyway, yeah, she just is completely nonsensical, and it's nobody even understands. Nobody knows what the hell she's gonna. I mean, she can't get off. She literally cannot get off script. She can't get off the teleprompter because, and this is why they're hiding her away, because of the fact that when she gets off script, she starts to try and talk as though she's intelligent. And she tries to describe things with big words and come up with these ideas or these examples of ideas that to make her sound so much smarter than what she actually is. Yeah, she's a lost cause. I'm telling you, she's just doing horribly bad. And also too, so is her second in command pick, Walz. So I don't know if anybody's been noticing, but the mainstream media has actually picked up on a lot of the stories that I've been talking about, specifically about Walz. And also too, they are actually starting to question things because, again, just like Harris, Walz is not taking interviews. See, now Trump and Vance, they've been doing extemporaneous interviews for the last 30 days or longer. Well, Harris and Walz haven't done anything in the last 27 days. So, Newsweek, of course, had reported, and this is coming out of PJ Media also. So Newsweek had finally caught up with everybody else and has reported that the Minnesota National Guard was disputing Walz's military biography. They pointed out that despite the governor's assertions, I should say, that Walz did not retire with the rank of Command Sergeant Major. CNN also similarly has called out the lying governor. I told you about the whole instance with CNN last night and his DUI arrest. So Walz is actually starting to become more of a liability on the campaign. So here, just as an example, in the article here, you can just see ABC, CNN, Washington Post, and Fox News are all starting to jump on the bandwagon and talk about this. So like ABC has Walz mischaracterized his military service. CNN, Walz lied about his drunk driving arrest. We covered that last episode. Washington Post, Walz lied about Vance's record on pro-worker legislation. And then, of course, Fox News, not that that is really any kind of a right-leaning source, but Walz praises anti-Semitic Muslim cleric on video. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse. And I think the bubble is about to burst. I think the honeymoon is going to be coming down. We're already starting to see signs of it. And I just think that this is, they haven't, I mean, they're living on borrowed time. Let's just put it that way. Speaking of living on borrowed time, by the way, they had a campaign stop with Harris and good old trusty Scranton fighting Joe Biden. And apparently there was a event that they were there. They were supposed to talk. And so the VP, which of course is Harris gave a speech and handed off the lectern, meaning the podium, over to President Biden. Well, according to this New York Post piece, crowd leaves joint Biden-Harris event early after VP hands off lectern to lame duck president. So this is in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And shortly after Vice President Kamala Harris handed over the podium to President Biden on Thursday, dozens of attendees at the joint event just simply stood up and left, rather than listening to the retiring commander-in-chief. The rude demonstration was a stark showing of the enthusiasm gap among Democrats, revved up by Harris' sudden elevation as the party's presidential nominee after Biden dropped out last month, amid reporting that Harris, 59, is seeking to redefine herself to gain distance from the unpopular incumbent. Now, you know as well as I do, she is not going to be able to do this. Okay, she just is not going to be able to break herself free from Joe Biden and his policies. It's just not going to happen. All right. So, adding insult to injury, when Biden, who regularly suffered low attendance at his own election rallies this year, and Harris greeted an overflow room, he was accused by multiple irate protesters of facilitating genocide in the Gaza Strip. Yeah. They also don't seem to realize, or at least those protesters may or may not realize, I don't know, that Harris is going to do the pretty much has been with Biden, at least according to Biden. Biden is like, oh, no. Harris has been with me the entire time. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be fun to watch. I'm waiting for the crash. I really am. This is going to be fun to watch when all of a sudden all of this momentum just, totally vaporizes under Walz and Harris because of all this stuff. All right, so as a part of her speech at the DNC, she outlined a policy, an economic policy, where she is going to ask Congress to outlaw price gouging. Now, first of all, I'm kind of wondering how they're going to define price gouging. And second of all, price control has been tried before. It's been tried in Soviet countries. It's been tried in the Soviet Union, in Cuba, in Venezuela, in, all of these different places that they have attempted to try, and Argentina, by the way, too, up until recently, where price controls, they try to control pricing. And what that ends up doing, of course, is making products scarce. It turns it into a, where products are scarce because people just don't want to make them anymore. They just quit making them. It becomes a black market nightmare because of the fact that anyone who wants those particular products and wants to actually make money, they're going to turn to the black market if they want the quality of the product. Because of course, when you price control things, your quality goes down. And so it opens up the door for a rampant black market. And it's just not going to work. It's happened before. So here's an example. And this is coming directly from NPR, the left news media outlet, National Public Radio, news media. The nightmare of grocery shopping in Venezuela. So remember, I already told you, Venezuela is one of the places that did these price control blocks. Well, here is what it is talking about. So Caracas housewife Annie Valero, she goes out and it's her grocery day, whether she likes it or not. And here's why. Because it's Monday, if Valero doesn't go now, she'll have to wait 4 more days to buy food. And the reason why is because government supermarkets sell price-controlled food, making them far cheaper than the private stores. But the problem is that people are only allowed in the state-run supermarkets just 2 days a week based on an ID card number. The system is designed to prevent shoppers from buying more than they need and then reselling goods on the black market at a huge markup. Venezuela, of course, is rich in oil, but is now poor in just about everything else. Economic mismanagement combined with low oil prices and high inflation, that's the key, high inflation, has created one of the world's most troubled economies. The government has stopped giving regular economic statistics, but many independent economists say that inflation is now north of 100% annually. So they have food shortages, rules about when and where people can actually buy stuff. And all of that has made grocery shopping in Venezuela a nightmare. So they start. You can read the whole piece. I mean, I've got the link in the show description, in the video description. But what she describes as the the shopping trip, okay, they go to a state-run store. There's no lines, but that often means that there's not much food left. And inside, they can take a look at the meat department. It's a barren landscape. Unplugged display cases, flies, a bad odor. She buys 3 cans of sardines. She buys some diapers for one of her kids. But checkout is like clearing customs in a hostile foreign country. The checkout clerk scrutinizes Valerie's ID card and tells her to hold her index finger over a fingerprint scanner, then scans the merchandise, and then informs Annie that because of rationing, she can buy just 2 of the 3 cans of sardines. I mean, seriously? Then apparently she also has to produce the baby's birth certificate in order to prove that the baby is theirs and that they really do need the diapers. Yeah, this is what we're headed for if you go with the idea that Kamala Harris and her price control is really all that great. It's not. It's been tried. It's failed. But hey, you know what? You're going to feel the joy. That's right. The Kamala Harris campaign or the Harris Walls campaign, whichever way you want to do it, they are all about the joy. They are all about the joy because you have to feel the joy. Forget the fact that you want to have, low prices on gas and food and housing and, you want to actually be able to buy $1 worth of stuff for $1. I mean, really? Yeah. But my gosh, I mean, feel the joy. Feel the joy. Well, you know what's funny about that whole feel the joy stuff is that actually comes from, believe it or not, Soviet style, communist style, socialist style regimes. That whole idea that you are supposed to feel the joy, feel the love, feel the excitement, This is all a socialist, Marxist, communist tactic. Don't believe me? Well, hat tip to Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire, because the Ben Shapiro show brought this up, and I'm going to tell you, it is uncanny how this is such a big deal. If you feel the love, feel the joy, well, check this out. So this first image is an image of Joseph Stalin. And for those on the audio portion of the program, Joseph Stalin is sitting at the top. Now, most of the time, you think of Joseph Stalin as that big mustache and the stern look and so on and so forth. In fact, Joseph Stalin was the inspiration for Big Brothers for the 1984 book. But here we have Joseph Stalin at the top middle of the poster, and we have a whole bunch of children and even some babies and toddlers that are all surrounding him, and they are all smiling. They look happy. They look joyful. And the poster's theme or meme or title of it is, "We are warmed by Stalin's affection." We are warmed by Stalin's affection. Yeah. Feel the love. Feel the joy. Are you feeling the joy? Well, that's not the only one. So here, whoops, sorry, wrong one. So here is Mao. You remember Mao Zedong? Oh yeah, I remember Mao Zedong in the Chinese, in China, and being the dictator over there. Well, here is a political poster from China under Mao's reign, and what they have is they have a whole bunch of Chinese people holding up red flags, and obviously the color red is very important to them, but you have them holding flags, and they're holding books that were written by Mao, and this one character in the center of the poster is holding up another poster, or an image of a poster, with some Chinese writing on it. Well, that Chinese writing says, "Mao's words bring joy." Yeah, Mao's words bring joy. Because why not? Let's just make it all about how you feel. Not how reality really is, but it's all about how you feel. If you're joyful, it doesn't matter that your stomach is growling. If you're joyful, it doesn't matter that you don't have clothes on your back, shoes on your feet. You're getting, kicked and all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Because of the fact that you have the joy and the love. Well, it's not just them. Hey, check this out. This poster comes from the Nazi era in Germany. And this was part of a campaign, by the way, that was implemented by the Nazis in order to manipulate the people into thinking that the Nazis were these wonderful, great group of individuals, and they were going to save Germany. That campaign, by the way, was titled "Strength Through Joy." And that's what you see on this poster. This poster is of 3 women in generation. Looks like one of them's holding like a shovel or something. They're looking off at the adults are looking off into the distance. Okay. And you have this child that's looking at you with, the rosy cheeks and the red lips, and they're smiling. And down at the bottom, it says Kraft durch Fried. Now, I'm not much of a German. I probably didn't even pronounce that correctly. I'm not much into German, but that basically means strength through joy. Yeah. All about the joy, folks. It's all about the joy. Forget the fact that you don't have, food to eat or anything else. Just just remember, it's all about the joy. And the joy is what is important. It's the joy and the happiness. And that's exactly what the sycophantic followers have jumped right on, because I'm telling you, all over the social media, they're like, we don't want to be in the darkness anymore. We want the joy. The joy of Harris and Walls. Yeah. Like I keep telling those idiots and morons, but because, only morons vote Democrat. I'd rather have low inflation, low interest rates, low gas prices, low grocery prices, and a whole bunch of other things like freedom, liberty, the ability to pick my own destiny. Not, out of all of that, I'll make my own joy. Thank you very much. Because my happiness isn't dependent upon what others think of me or what others can do for me or anything else. My happiness is my responsibility. If I'm not happy at doing something, I should be able to change it, whatever it is that I'm doing, in order to make it to where I am no longer unhappy anymore. Changing America into a socialist country would make me unhappy. So anyway, I'm not feeling the joy of Kamala Harris' campaign. I'm really not. Oh, it's just gonna be a high level of suck. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyway. All right. Well, that whole thing about 2020 and 2016 and, all of those things about, let's just go ahead and use mail-in ballots, especially in 2020 because of COVID and all of these. Oh, no. You can't go and vote in person. You have to vote by mail because, God forbid you have any kind of contact with other humans for a virus that is literally a 97% plus survivability rate, even in its worst point. But anyway, so just get your ballot, drop it in the mail. I mean, here in Washington, we've had it all this time, for several years. And like I've said on multiple occasions, I don't feel like the Washington votes are actually the way that are actually done, on the up and up, let's say. But this article came out in the Federalist. A majority of postal facilities audited by the Inspector General failed to follow election mail procedures. Yeah, really? Seriously. And we're about ready to go into another cycle where a lot of people are doing, ballots by mail because they probably are still thinking that they need to, especially when you see in the news about, COVID is spiking. Well, COVID may be spiking, folks, but it's not the same COVID that was back in 2020. It's a very weakened virus by now. But anyway, I digress. So these findings are indicative of a lack of understanding and training with respect to election and political mail policies and procedures. New audit released last month from the U.S. Postal Service's Office of the Inspector General confirmed that many USPS facilities are failing to follow proper election mail procedures. These USPS service problems threaten the security of votes cast by mail in the upcoming election. The independent Office of the Inspector General conducts audits, evaluations, and research and investigations to fulfill its mission, ensuring efficiency, accountability, and integrity in the U.S. Postal Service. So in November of 2023, the OIG commenced a self-initiated audit of the election mail readiness for the 2024 general election. The audit aimed to evaluate the Postal Service's readiness for the timely processing and delivery of election and political mail for the 2024 general election. And it was conducted at 15 judgmentally selected mail processing facilities and 35 delivery units in 13 states and Puerto Rico during primary elections in February and March of 2024, according to the report. The audit's findings identified 3 major areas of concern for them. First one, obviously, being that lack of compliance with election mail and political mail policies. So the first finding detailed how Postal Service personnel were not complying with certain policies and procedures regarding election and political mail. Okay. Second one is that they found was operational risks could delay timely processing and delivery of election mail. Specifically, the audit revealed inconsistent election day coordination and a lack of processes to segregate election mail out of postal automated redirection system mail and confusion around postmarking. Now, I don't know if you remember, not too long ago, there was a lawsuit where they were talking about the Postal Service postmarking stuff and actually sending it. It was an Arizona lawsuit where the Arizona city had their election mail sent to Las Vegas, Nevada for processing, and it didn't get back to Arizona to get counted properly in the right speed. Yeah. So according to the report, in 8 of the 14 facilities observed on primary election day, between 1 and 82 ballots did not make it to the election office on time to be counted. The report cited various contributing elements for this, including if your mail processing facilities that did not have any processes to separate out ballots during the primary election day for expedited processing, as well as delivery units that did not coordinate with 2 mail processing facilities about ballots going to Board of Election offices on primary election day. Yep. All right, so what was the last one? Oh, apparently the third audit finding, and arguably the most critical, is that most significant implications surrounded the USPS's ability to process and deliver election and political mail for 2024. This particular audit finding confirmed the major problems with the USPS delivering for America restructuring program, substantiating a previous report in the Federalist in which they highlighted multiple areas of concern with the program, including the consolidation of mail handling and distribution into regional processing centers and the local transportation optimization initiative. So in other words, changes that were made to the United States Postal Service is actually going to make it harder potentially for election security in 2024. Gee, I wonder who might have put that stuff in. Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was Utah, not Arizona. Utah primary ballot disaster. The ballots were taken to a processing center in Nevada before they were returned to Utah, too late to be counted. That's what they were. That's one of the examples that they were talking about. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're ready for 2024. 2024 elections are going to go quite stellar. We're going to have them so fantastic. But you know what? It doesn't matter because you've got to feel the love. You've got to feel the joy of Kamala Harris and Tim run around, waves in the hands there, or whatever you want to call it, walls. That's what you need to do, is to feel the love and the joy from the Democrats. Yeah. Oh, jeez. What a mess. Okay, so another bone that I have had in my craw for a little while is the reports that keep coming out. And by the way, too, yeah, Bonnie over on Rumble, Tim's white man tacos. What the hell is a white man taco? Can somebody tell me that? I mean, is a white man taco? I mean, come on. Yeah, where that comes from is Tim Walz and Kamala Harris sat down and did a pseudo interview. It wasn't an interview. It was a whole scripted back and forth between Walz and Harris and trying to get them to be likable to everybody. And it was, I don't know, maybe like two hours or 2 hours long or whatever. They basically produced it and put it out because of Musk's interview with Donald Trump. That's why. But anyway, so yeah, it's just seriously. Anyway. Oh, Amy over on Rumble says that the white man tacos were something with mayo. I heard it was tuna. It's like tuna with mayo. Don't know for sure if that's it. But, yeah. That's who I want. I mean, don't you just feel the joy in that tuna taco? Tuna and mayo. That's tuna salad, folks. That's not a taco. Anyway. Continuing on. Here, one of the things that the left has been touting, and, Pete Buttigieg, the guy that has his, he breastfeeds his babies through some sort of a contraption that he puts on or whatever. Anyway, they all have been touting the fact that crime is down. Crime is down. Crime is down. Crime is down. They keep saying that over and over and over again, as if they want to believe it's true. Now, I've pointed it out on this program before that it's not crime that's down. It's actually reporting that's down. Because not too long ago, under the Biden administration, they actually went and changed how cities are required to report. Not only that, but they also recategorized certain things and made it so that the statistical analysis cannot be compared between the new way and the old way because of so many changes to the database. And so what they ended up doing is they modified things so much that some of the major cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, Baltimore, and others were not reporting their stuff. In fact, reporting itself was down, especially initially right after the changes were made, by up to 40%, meaning that only 60% of the municipalities that were reporting prior to the changes were reporting now. And the challenge, of course, is that a lot of people are saying, well, no. You go directly to those hubs, to those places, and they report, their crime. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I would necessarily trust them to report that kind of crime. Well, here in this piece in Breitbart, yeah, having a hard time speaking. Breitbart, a guy by the name of John Lott actually did some analysis, and he says right here in the headline, don't believe the hype. Violent crime surged under Biden. Now, in the piece, he describes two methodologies. And this John Lott, by the way, is the Crime Prevention Research Center's president. And he penned this opinion editorial piece, known as an op-ed, on Tuesday, in which he explained that despite the establishment claims, meaning despite the federal government's claims and the White House claims, violent crime actually rose under Biden and fell under Trump. So in the piece, he wrote that there's two measures of crime. The first one, obviously, being the FBI's national database, and that counts the number of crimes reported to police on a yearly basis. The other one is the Bureau of Justice Statistics National Crime Victimization Survey, which asks about 240,000 people each year whether they have been victims of crime. And that's in an attempt to measure both reported and unreported crime. So, what ends up happening here is that, of course, the FBI stats have not been reported. Thousands of police precincts have not been reporting crime data to the FBI, which, of course, gives you the false sense of security that things are going down. Okay. But also, too, was that the other one where they are attempting to measure both reported and unreported, that one has actually gone up. So the number of people who have said that they were victims of crime, whether it was reported or unreported, has actually increased. Thousands of police agencies fell through the cracks because they didn't catch up with the changes. That was the FBI reporting. And thus, in 2022, there were far fewer police precincts turning in crime data. And the Marshall Project reported this in 2023, that more than 6,000 law enforcement agencies were missing from the FBI's national crime data last year, representing nearly a third of the nation's 18,000 police agencies. Now, just as a indication, I went not too long ago, about a week and a half ago, and to that FBI data place, and they're still reporting roughly 11 to 12,000 that have been reported over the 18,000 that usually do. So they're still running behind by about 4,000 municipalities. So it's not, I mean, yeah, this is just this is just the tip of the iceberg too, by the way. So even just like, now this the key here is to understand this. Just like the White House says, well, inflation has dropped. Okay. Yes, inflation has come down from its high peak. That's the same situation that we have here. Yes, violent crime has come down from its high peak. But that doesn't mean that it's lower than what it was under Trump. And it's not. It's not. So, oh, thank you for that, Mama. I appreciate that. Mama says, doesn't Rick look handsome tonight? Oh, thank you. I try. Anyway. So, yeah, going back to this, I mean, keep in mind, this is, I mean, yeah, they are lying to you. They are lying to you. They are lying to you. They will always lie to you. Well, here's part of the problem. And this is kind of a hard cut, but here's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that the majority of the electorate out there have low IQs. Now, I've never had my IQ, like, actually tested. I've never tried because I've never really been interested in it. But occasionally you do have to kind of entertain yourself. Like I said the other day, is that, you know, finding things to do occasionally just for entertainment purposes is particularly awesome. And so what I did today, in just as a moment of hilarity, is I tried a free IQ test online just to see where my numbers fell out. Well, let's just say I'm not surprised at the answer. Even though a lot of people on the socials, especially the leftist lunatic nut jobs, have all been saying that I'm stupid, that I'm the moron, because of course I've been saying only morons vote Democrat, which I don't understand how they can resolve that issue, because I don't vote Democrat. So obviously my statement and their statement are, you know, diametrically opposed from one another, but okay, whatever. So for fun, I went to this free IQ test. The link is in the show notes in the description. I'm just going to leave this leave this kind of note on for you. But the link in the description, it's like a 20 question test, and it's just kind of fun. I'm not going to throw a bunch of weight into it just because it is what it is, but I do find it fascinating that my IQ. So here's the IQ test score bell curve. So keeping in mind that they use 100 as the average, okay? So 100 as the average. Most people, according to this site, and the site is free-iqtest.net for those who are on the audio portion, but free-iqtest.net, or sorry, free-iqtest.net went ahead and said that basically between 85 to 115 is roughly where 70% of the people fall within that range. If you are outside of that 85 to 115 span, which, by the way, if you're lower than 85, you might have some challenges. If you're higher than 115, though, you are considered of, higher average intelligence. Now, keep in mind, this thing is very generic, very general, and it's not even, like I said, 20 questions. Seriously, you could miss one or two and have it thrown off. But I went ahead and did the test just because I'm kind of curious. I've been told that I'm a fairly intelligent guy all my life. And even though I don't believe that I'm like any higher of intelligence than some more other people that I'm hanging around, but I went ahead and did this. And here, I'm going to present to you my score. I have a score of 133. So apparently I fall, according to that free IQ test, I fall in the category of gifted, which apparently that category, by the way, has only 2.3% of test takers fall into the gifted column. So, yeah, I guess in terms of general IQ knowledge, general intelligent quotient knowledge, 133 is not a bad score. So, oh, and it's really funny too, because the leftists who are out there on the social media, they're all like, oh, you're not an educated person. You just some dumb redneck wannabe maggot, whatever. Yeah, right. Like they always, they try to tell you, oh, the highly educated, they all vote Democrat. And I apologize for the very horrible Southern accent that I just threw in there. But here's the thing that I'm trying to make is that if all educated, highly intelligent people voted Democrat, the reason is not because they're highly educated and highly intelligent. The reason is because they've likely spent way too much time in the friggin' indoctrination camps that our leftist overlords have created in there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you 133. Anyway. What's funny though is actually kind of interesting. Just somebody asked, Pycaric actually asked here on Rumble. She goes, we believe you are gifted. Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. And then she asks, did you take advanced classes in like high school and college? Technically, yes. But you got to remember, my high school was like way back in the mid to late 80s. And so, yeah. So, yeah, I was part of what they called in my area, they called it the talented and gifted. A couple of times I got bumped up to that. And so, yeah, anyway. And as far as like, did I take advanced classes? I did get placed in some AP courses and things of that nature in high school. And in college, I didn't really take them that way, but I did get very good scores in college. So yeah, I think I ended up graduating with something around a 3.9 or something like that in college, if I remember right. I could be wrong. It could be like a 3.8 something, but anyway. So yeah, so there you go. Apparently I'm highly gifted. Coco, what I will do is I will put There it is. There it is. My unofficial producer, Outlaw Dogs, got it and put it up there. Yeah, that's the so what you see there will be the score guide. But you can take the test. They have a link there where you can go and take the test to figure it out. Like I said, it's like a 20 question exam, mostly math, some logic and reason and that kind of stuff. So whatever. Anyway, I just did it just for fun. Maybe you'll do it on a Friday and just see what you get. What the hell? All right, folks, that's it for me tonight. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free if you don't already have one. And whether you do or whether you don't, once you have the account, go over to and search for the American Perspective channel and make sure you hit that green follow button to be notified every time I go live right here on Rumble, X, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, too, if you are on Rumble or anywhere else, please hit that like, thumbs up, Rumble, whatever buttons that you have, because of course, all of those, make it so that people recognize that you guys like my videos and things of that nature. We will see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow is Saturday, so it's an hour later, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your Friday. Go and take that IQ test. It might be fun just to see where you fall out. And don't take it too seriously. I'm serious, folks. Just you can't take that any kind of serious. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening and good night, everybody.
The previous broadcast was produced and is owned by Active Eye Media LLC. All rights reserved.